Hi everybody! This is so cool. Hi! How's it going? I think this is so, I saw this backstage, the lighting is so cool. Man, look at that.
Hit the button.
Oh, it's so cool. We're always back in the United States with the Creation, who does most of the supernatural conventions, and when we do Saturday Night Special, we're always like, try to get us what we have in Rome, like that. The lighting and the sound, so great. These guys do a great job. Hi, how's it going? Now, I can't see anything, but thank you. So yeah, if you have a question, I'll answer.
Hi, Rob again.
Hi.
Thank you for carrying on last night. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I've actually got a question about another TV show I've been binge watching, and I saw your name in the opening credits, and I was like, where is he? Where is he? Turns out you're in the pre-titles. I didn't even recognise you.
What was I in?
Well, I've got a screenshot here. Do you want me to give it to you?
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. That's House.
House, yeah.
Yeah, this guy.
Yep.
Yeah. No beard.
Curly
Small
hair.
glasses.
I think that's about a year before you played Chuck. You can keep that.
Oh, thank you.
I was just wondering what it was like working on that show.
It was really fun. Yeah, and a really good time. You know, at the time it was such a big show, and I hadn't met anyone on it. And Hugh Laurie, I was just so impressed that I knew he was English, but he kept his American accent even when he wasn't filming. Apparently, as soon as he walked onto set, he was talking in an American accent because it kept him warmed up. So we were all like sitting in chairs. It's my memory of the show, is we were sitting in, you know, the actor chairs. And he's telling some story, and he's telling it with an American accent. But the story was, you know, in England we had this commercial, and the commercial is this, he's telling a story about living in England, being English, but he's telling the whole story with an American accent. And I just thought that was fascinating, you know, because American audiences didn't know Hugh Laurie before House, and so to all of us, he was American, you know. But I heard he was English, but I never heard him speak with an English accent.
I know, I grew up with him in his British accent, and I started watching House, and now it's weird to hear him have a British accent.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it was great. And there's a great, like, I think there's a GIF that goes around of me saying, "Oh, your House, I've heard of you." And he said, "Yeah, well, it's also a noun." Something like that, so. But yeah, it's fun.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. You never know where I'm going to pop up.
Hi, first of all, thank you for being such an inspiration in the music world for me.
Oh, cool.
And at Darklight, I asked you what music genre you were afraid to try out, and your answer was musical. So now my follow-up question on that is, if you would ever write a musical, if so, what style, and what would it be about?
That's a great question. I think about that a lot, actually, because I love musicals, and I would love to adapt like a modern day, like rock or you know, any kind of sort of modern contemporary album into a musical, like they did with the movie Once. I love that kind of thing, where Once is a great movie if you haven't seen it, an Irish movie, and they made it into a musical because it's basically, the movie is a musical, it's got all these great songs in it, but it's a very contemporary, you know, movie, and so when you go in and you see the musical, like there's a band on stage and it's set like a pub. It's really terrific the way that they do it. I'd love to do that kind of thing, and right now they've adapted, they're doing like a version of Hamlet set to Radiohead's Hail to the Thief album, and I love that concept. You know, that kind of thing really gets me excited. So I know they've done it with like Sufjan Stevens albums, and they've done it with, well, U2 wrote a musical, but anyway, they've done it with modern day albums that, Sufjan Stevens has an album called Illinois, and they made that into a Broadway musical. So I'd love to do that with like an album that really inspires me. And I had this great idea for a musical. There's a band I like called Pine Grove, and I had a great idea for a musical based on a Pine Grove album, and I really think that I could get the rights to do it because I know someone who knows that lead singer, and I really had this, I was inspired to do that, and then it's just kind of stalled in my head, so, but I'm ready to go, you know, because it's once you listen out and you're like, oh, this makes me feel like this, oh yeah, and then the character does this, then this happens, this song would be perfect for that, you know. So that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to adapt a modern day album into a musical.
Please do it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys are so awesome. Thanks. You guys inspire me to want to make things and do things, because you help me bring it to life, you know, which makes me feel great. So.
I was excited to see you play Cthulhu on Matt's show in Public Domain. And have you developed a character voice yet? And could you give us a preview?
Thank you for pronouncing it correctly. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I actually Googled before.
I can barely spell it. I signed it earlier, like yesterday, and they're like, put your character name underneath. I was like, yeah, I don't know how to. It's like CHULHU. Yeah, he's kind of like, he's me, like Matt really wanted him to be me, but he's me that's a little more gruff and a little bit of a New York accent, just a little bit, because he's calling the shots, and he's like, he's the head of the bar, and he's calling the shots for everybody. And don't try that, and he's like, you don't want to see me when I'm angry. He's like that kind of thing, so that's a little bit of what he sounds like.
Sounds great.
Yeah, Matt wanted the character to sound like you could still tell it was us doing it. It wasn't like, hey, how you doing? You know, it's like really like the same. Which reminds me, I do voiceovers every once in a while, and so you have voiceover auditions. Now auditions are always like, you just do it at home and set it in. But it used to be you go into the room and audition with other actors. And it was the funniest thing, like everybody in the room like had weird voices. Like they got a lot of voiceover work because they have weird voices. They're like, you know, someone walked in and they're like, hey Jimmy, how's it going? I'm pretty good, friend. You know, everybody has these like weird sort of voices. Like, of course, the voiceover artists, you know, they talk funny.
Hi. So I'm an artist, and I'm getting ready to do a show. And as I've been packing up my pieces, it's only my second show. And I'm wondering, like, does it ever get easier? Like, do you still worry when you pack up your equipment to go to shows, or do you have somebody that does that for you?
You mean just moving your stuff?
Yeah.
Like physically moving your stuff?
Yeah, like, is it going to break? Is it going to get lost?
Right. No, it doesn't get easier.
Oh.
When we're on tour doing the supernatural conventions, that equipment gets moved for us, which is amazing. Like it's you know, it's after years of hauling our own equipment places, it really feels good to have them do it. You show up and everything's set up. It's amazing. But normally, if there's like an outside gig that the band does or that I do personally, you got to take all your stuff. And if you're flying, you got to fly with your guitar and your pedals and everything, you know. And yeah, it's a pain. And amplifiers are heavy, so I have to put my back out several times just lifting a big heavy amp, you know. And you worry about, you know, you set it down too hard and it's like, you know, so you really don't want to damage it, but ultimately you do, just carting it around, you know.
Yeah, unless Jared picks it up.
And what?
Unless Jared picks it up.
Yeah, exactly. Even Jared, he's just a big bear, you know. He doesn't know how powerful he is, you know. But and so he'd be like this. And then, oh wait, what? yeah, I've made the mistake several times of like asking Jared to show me like a physical move. Like, hey, how do kickboxers like kick? He was like, with their hips. Oh, God. But he didn't mean to hurt me. He's just really showing me the thing. He just doesn't know how big and strong he is.
Hi, my question is actually like an extension to hers.
Okay.
So it's about packing for your trips. You obviously I'm sorry. You travel a lot, and I have a few travels in April and May. My question is, what is most useful thing you take with yourself on every trip, and then what is the one thing that you take but you never use?
Oh, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do travel a lot, and you get pretty good at it. The thing that I always take and I never use is I've got a little speaker in my that I bought a couple years ago. Like, because there have been so many times where we don't have anything to amplify the music, and we're just all in a group, and I want to be the guy who's like, I got a speaker, you know. Or even if I'm in a hotel room by myself, sometimes they don't have a speaker, and if I'm spending a lot of time in the hotel room, I want to play music. And so I've got this little, and I never use it. I never have the chance to ever pull out the speaker. It just sits there in my backpack.
That's actually one thing that I left at home because I was thinking about,
because they make great, very powerful little Bluetooth speakers, you know. And then the thing that I can't leave home without, that I always bring, is I always bring it every. Oh. I always bring a tripod, for a camera, because I get auditions on the road, and a lot of times they're like, we need this by tomorrow or whatever, so you got to do it in your hotel room. And I had years of trying to balance my camera on like stacks of books on a coffee table, you know. So I finally invested in just a tripod that packs up really easily. It's like this big. I brought it with me here, and I do use that. And I'm always like, thank God I've got this tripod.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. And my toothbrush, man, half the time I forget my fucking toothbrush.
And 10 pairs of underwear for a 3-day trip.
Yeah, I always pack like an extra 2 pair just in case.
Yeah.
That I always do. But the toothbrush, because it's a different thing. I got everything, like my toiletries and all that, no problem. And then I brush my teeth and I leave. Forget the toothbrush. So now I've got a whole bunch of extra toothbrushes because I have to buy a new one every time, every city.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering how you found parenting styles change from sort of the first time you did it and then now with Margaret.
Oh, parenting styles, yeah. Yeah, so I have a 21-year-old son and an 18-year-old daughter and a 14-month-old daughter. And the biggest change is their technology has changed. So when I had children the first time, you know, we had a monitor where you listen to what's going on. Now they've got a video monitor where you can track their heartbeat and everything else, and you can talk to them and listen to them and everything. It's freaky how much it does. But it is nice to be able to see them and go, hey, is she okay? Oh, she's good.
My nieces say like to my mum, like, Nanny, what did you watch on your tablet when you were my age?
Yeah.
Like, they just won't ever grasp that concept of not having technology.
Yeah, and you know, car seats have gotten better and strollers have gotten better. But I tell you, the one thing that I've learned, one of the things I've learned a lot, and I feel like I know more now, and I'm definitely a more sort of confident parent. You know, when you have your first child, you're like, I don't know what to do. Why is he crying? But you know, with Margaret, it's like I know everything's a phase. I know that she's going through a phase, and it will end. And, you know, so I feel like a calmer parent. The thing that is that it's weird is that it's a racket. They try to sell you all these things you don't need. You know, all these things that they're like, well, we're going to need you know, whatever, an extra, whatever it is. And it's like, you don't need that. You know, I'm always telling Ruth, like, yeah, I do. You don't need that. You don't need that. Because then your house becomes like all these things you don't use, you know. A bouncy chair, and a bouncy swing, and a pretend staircase, and a kitchenette and another third stroller just in case, like, you don't, it's a racket. But yeah, definitely technology has changed. Yeah, I just feel like I've changed, you know, so I'm less stressed. But other than that, the basics haven't changed. You know, and forever humanity. It's still a wee little baby, and you still love it to death, and the baby still wakes up a lot, and you're tired as hell, but it's worth it, you know. But yeah, that was the biggest change to me, was technology. And then that's when you realize, like, oh yeah, it's been 20 years, you know, lots changed. So, thank you.
I had a question, and I've actually just changed my mind of what I was going to ask you. I was actually going to say, you know, having Ruth as a Scot, as a Brit, as your partner, and we do things very differently over there.
Yeah, for sure.
I just was wondering what kind of things that you found really fun and different, and like, we speak the same language, we come from the same place almost, but we're very different.
Yeah.
What's been kind of the biggest learning of trying to become a semi-Scot?
Yeah, it's a great...
/ Brit, / know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, no, we're saying things like "we" in a sentence.
That's what made me change my question. Even though we baby, I was like, I'm changing it.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, first of all, just the language, it is, we always talk about like the cultural differences. They're intense because she's very Scottish, like lived in Scotland and, you know, until 12, 13 years ago, you know, and it's still there 100%. To the point where some things that she says or does, I'm like, you've lived here long enough to know that we don't do that, you know, like my daughter turned 18, and Ruth popped a glass of champagne and poured a glass of champagne. My daughter was like, oh. And she's like, oh, you're 18, aren't you? And it's like, right, we don't, it's 21 here. And she's like, oh, no. Yeah. She goes, it never is. No, it is. It actually is. And, surely you knew that. Or we would go to the movies and she asked for sweet popcorn or whatever. And I'm like, you don't...
Sweet or salty?
Yeah. And she's like, we don't do the sweet here, it's just salty. No. So that stuff is super fun. Yeah, so it's just, I still get a kick out of it because there's a part of me that very much feels like I grew up in a small town in the middle of America, and so it's still kind of exotic to me that there's this person from, you know, Scotland that I've met, you know. So every time she's super Scottish, I'm like, I just love it. But yeah, they're just different, you know, culturally being in a relationship with somebody from Scotland or even from England would be this way. It's different because you don't speak about your feelings in the same way.
You don't speak about it at all.
It's so funny, like, you know, she's so just stereotypical Scottish when it comes to that too. So if I'm like, I love you, and she's like, okay, right, so.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So.
How very nice of you.
Yeah. Oh, hey, so, okay. The trash needs, or the bin needs taken out. So, yeah. And then just her words for things, you know, she says cupboard, which is a closet. It's where I hang my jackets, is a cupboard.
It's a cupboard, yeah.
But that's not a cupboard for me. A cupboard is different. It's like more like where you would keep the cereal in the kitchen.
I remember a comment someone said, what's your favourite Christmas cookie? And she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is a Christmas cookie? We have mince pies.
Yes, exactly. She really, I mean, stuff like that. She's like, what? Like, so we're constantly getting these funny conversations. Do you know what rashers, when I say rashers? Like bacon? And she was like, I was like, we don't have any food right now, I'm starving. She's like, we've got rashers downstairs? Like, rashers? She's like, rashers. I'm like, rashers? And she's like, oh gosh, rashers. You know, and it's an argument where I'm like in tears, like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're saying. So she thinks I have bad hearing because I'm always going, what? I'm like, it's not really my hearing so much. Oh, it is. So, Yeah, so it's super fun, like, exciting at all times. And I love meeting her friends. She's friends with a lot of Brits, you know, a lot of people from England that always come over, and that's super fun too. Yeah, I mean, I love the UK, so I love everything about it, so. So it's super fun, keeps me on my toes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. My imitation of Ruth is like, you know, gruff and angry all the time, which really isn't her, but it makes me laugh. Oh, no. Do you know the story about free pour?
Yeah.
We went and had a holiday with a lot of my college friends, and we drink when we're to get together, so we're drinking and pouring ourselves cocktails all night, and then later that night I had this like weird thing with my heart. It wasn't serious, but it felt like it was. So we went to the hospital to get me checked out. It was this thing called pericarditis. It's like having a virus around your heart. You take Advil and eventually it goes away. But she says to the doctor, she's like, oh no, it's the free pour. It's the free pour! And I was like, what? And she meant like in England they do like shot glasses to make cocktails. And we're just like, go, 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 go. And so to her that was the free pour! No, doctor, it's the free pour! So my friends just cracked up about that. We always say free pour. Free pour! And the beach!
Oh, the beach.
It's good times. Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you again.
And you?
So my question is, you look happy every time I see you. And I turned 40 this year, and it's a little frightening for me. So I wonder, what the best benefits of being over 40?
Being what?
Over 40.
Being almost 40? Over 40, yeah, right. Well, you know, why would I know that? Someone once told me when I turned 40, they were like, life begins at 40. And it was the first time I had heard that, you know, but I think there's some truth into that. Like, I think after you turn 40, everything, you know, everything you learn in your 20s and your 30s about what it is to be independent and to be an adult, it really starts to turn and be in your favor after 40, your life experience. And I know so many people like reach their peak like after 40 because they're, you know, I know actors that just got success in their 40s because they finally figured it out in a way. And so I think you have a lot to look forward to. And the other thing is like, we're not our parents' 40, you know? Technology is changing, medicine is changing, the way we're living is changing, and I think we have the capability to live longer. So 40 is a number, it doesn't mean anything. It's how you feel inside and the life that you live. So treat your body well and look forward to being older and embrace that, you know?
My soul is young, but my body starts falling apart.
Yeah, your body will start to, you know, I mean, I had a stroke when I was 43, and that was a big deal because it was sort of life telling me like, hey, you're old now, you know, but looking back, that was just all in my head. Like I healed completely, and I've lived my best life post-stroke, and I've appreciated life a lot more. And so, you know, just keep treating your body well, and your body will respond well. And just keep being young in your mind, you know. I'm 54, that doesn't seem possible. I feel still like a teenager, you know. And so, yeah, so why not? So what? Like, what's 54? It's not, my dad wasn't 54, I'm a different person. You know, I know some of my friends are like, oh, I'm about ready to, you know, retire, call it quits. I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm still going for it. I haven't reached that. I've got a lot of that I want to do, you know, with my life. I haven't reached all my goals yet. So keep at it. Keep setting goals for yourself and keep going, because it's just a number.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Yes, you did great.
Hello.
Hi.
So a lot of Supernatural fans say thank Chuck instead of thank God.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that is a thing that you maybe said, or people in your family, like, did Ruth ever say thank Chuck? Or?
No. No, but I love it. I love when people say that. You know, especially after everything that happens, people still refer to Chuck as God. I'm like, thank you for believing in the goodness. The non-season 15 Chuck, the other Chuck. No, I can't say that Ruth ever said thank Chuck, but you know, my kids at times would be like, well, I mean, you're God, so you know, it's usually so. Why can't you let me stay out past midnight? You know? It's like that's not how that works.
But probably not in a you said so I have to do it way, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's whenever it works well for them. Yeah, that's when they want to acknowledge that. But no, I can't say that Ruth has ever said that. But I truly believe that she's kind of a witch in a good way. No, I think she's got like some serious powers, and it's and there have been times where I've seriously been like, hey, I really want this thing to happen, so can you think on it? Will it to happen? Because I think she's got that ability. She's a magic little woman, man. She's a magic little woman, and she'll be like, you know, she'll say things like, oh, I got a good feeling about that, and then it happens. You know, she has good intuition, is what it is. But I'm like, I think one time I was like, well, you're a witch, make it happen. She's like, you know that I'm not actually a witch. I played on a TV show that you were on.
She should have said you are God, make it happen.
Yeah, but yeah, no, she's more Rowena in that way than I am Chuck. But it's fun. Yeah, she's magic. She's magic.
Thank you.
And your question is? Okay. Glad I can help. Yes.
Okay. Misha today tried to imagine and reenact the way how you were excited to tell Ruth about the role in The Boys. But then you have read the script and have become less excited about it. So I was wondering, how did you actually tell the Ruth about it? What's going on?
Well, I don't know exactly what he did, but it was probably pretty accurate. Because it really was like, Kirky said, hey, I've got this opportunity for you, but I wanted to know if you're comfortable with nudity. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's nudity. You know what? For the boys, for Eric, I'd love to be on it. Yes, I'm going to do nudity. Yes, I'll do it. And then he sent me the script. After I said yes, you know, then I'm looking at the script. I was like, oh God, oh God, oh, you know.
Oh, Chuck.
So yeah, so then I told Ruth, and she was like, she's so supportive, you know. I'd like to give a joke to her saying like, oh, but she really heard from the beginning. She was like, oh, I think it's gonna be good for you. And so. And she's so supportive all the way through, and I sent her pictures, and she loved the way that I looked, with everything shaved off. She's like, oh, you look so sexy, you look hot. And great, you know, and then, you know, when it started coming out, she's like, you're on The Boys? This is great. And then it finally came out, I was like, do you want to watch it? She's like, no, I'm okay. She's like, I lived it. And I was like, you gotta watch it. I was like, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it with me. And she's like, okay. So we were watching it together. And she's like, then the sauna scene comes on where it's a whole bunch of me going to town on myself. And she's like, oh. Oh, she literally did this, oh. I'm like, Rick, you knew this was coming. She's like, I know, but. So, yeah. I was telling people in my meet and greet, the funny thing about The Boys is like, you know, my kids are very humble about whenever I'm acting in something. they've had friends of theirs be like huge Supernatural fans, but they're kind of too shy to say like, hey, my dad's in that. So they've never really said that. Well, my daughter now, all of a sudden, she's a senior in high school, and she loves when all the boys are talking about, oh, I love The Boys is a great show. And she's like, have you seen the scene? The guy eats his own ass, and the guys are like, yeah, that scene was sick! And she's like, that's my dad.